My intentions with this information is to deliberately help you to design, create, and manifest the perfect life for you. I am your manifestation coach, Kiana Divine, and as I always say, man is the maker of his own reality through his daily ideas, through his daily choices, through his daily decisions and thoughts and actions and rituals, perspectives and perceptions, beliefs, attention, and his knowledge. So you, my dear, have all the tools you need and all the powers you need in order to manifest the life of your dreams. Welcome to class. Imagine if you were living a life where you could have, be, or do anything that you wanted. And all you had to do was envision it. Okay, let's take it back. All you had to do is imagine it. Do you remember when you were a child and used to imagine things? Think about this. What if you were in this life and you weren't utilizing all of your powers to optimum performance? There's something missing. You always knew that there was something missing, but you could never put your finger on it. What's missing, you already had, but you left it back in your childhood. I'll tell you what it is. It's your imagination. Today, like every other day, we are going to discuss how to design your dream life. I am your manifestation coach, Kiana Divine. I'm a life coach, and my specialty is manifestations. I help business women create, design, and manifest the perfect life for them. Yes, it's typical to think that you have it all when you have the money and the career is going and you have the house and you have the cars and it looks like you have this perfect picture. But the reality of it is we're all missing something. And my job, my privilege is to be able to help you fill in those blanks to get this life as close to heaven as it possibly can be. Today, what you're going to learn is how to use your imagination in order to fill in the gaps of self-love as well as self-care. That's right. Do you really love yourself? I mean, really, really love yourself. Think about it. Because if you love yourself, you wouldn't continue to put yourself to the back burner. You wouldn't continue to put other people before you. When you love yourself, you understand that it is Me Inc. MEINC. Me Incorporated. When you love yourself, you prioritize yourself. Those things that you love, you tend to prioritize. And we're going to talk about that today because as women, as business women, as new age women, we tend to put ourselves to the back burners for our men, for our children, and for our career. Today's quote is, and I'm going to say it, and I want you to say it after me. And we're going to be repeating this throughout this whole conversation because thoughts create things. Ideas create things. We talked about this in the beginning. Man is maker of his own reality through his daily ideas, through his daily choices, through his daily decisions, and through his daily thoughts. So how do we shift our mind and our perspective from one level to the other, from one dimension to another? We have to absorb new thoughts. That means we have to consider new ideas and new possibilities, new perspectives. The quote that we're going to be repeating throughout this class today is, my imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. Say it with me. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. Now, you know this. This is something you know, and you know for sure. You know that your imagination is the gateway to all of your dreams because your imagination is like a vision. We do vision boards together all the time, right? We do vision boards. We do vision social media pages. We envision this stuff. And envisioning is the same way as imagination. It's just you're used to hearing or applying the word imagination when it comes to a child. Well, it's time for us to tap into that childlike ability and use our imagination, because it's something that we've forgotten. It's something that we've left to the side. And we're going to create this dream life in regards to self-love as well as self-care. This information is intended to provoke life-changing and thought-provoking conversations all across the globe. I want you to look at this information from a different perspective, from fresh eyes, from the paradigm shift, from the new being that you are today, right here and right now, so that you could be able to absorb this information and apply it in your life where applicable. I only have 4 expectations for you. Number 1, tap into your imagination. As we go through this process and I bring you these different ideas that you haven't thought of from this perspective before, use your imagination and tap into it so that you can start pulling the scabs off of that thing that you call your old childlike imagination. Open yourself up to the possibilities. Remember, closed mouths don't get fed. Number 2, I expect for you to take out your pen and paper, get comfortable, get your glass of water, your fruit juice, or your cup of coffee. If you'd like to grab a glass of wine, go ahead and grab that too, girl. And get nice and comfortable to take notes on all of this information. And these notes are not in vain. These notes are to activate the power of the pen. And what's the power of the pen, coach? The power of the pen is you writing something down. It gives it so much more energy and so much more power that you wouldn't even believe how much influence writing something down does. Because you have to hear it, then you write it, then you're going to come across it again. It's building momentum for that thing. My next expectation is for you to listen to this class over and over and over and over again so that you can really absorb all the information that's going to be offered here. This is my joy and my privilege to come to you with all of this great information, but I want it to be of assistance for you to use in your life. And my 4th, last but not least, expectation is for you to share this information with someone else so that you can bless their lives, so that you can see them move on, level up their lives, and design the perfect lives for themselves. Let's start this thing off the right way. We came here to talk about self-love, self-care, and using our imagination in order to promote those things in our lives. Well, the work that I do is all about reinventing yourself. Everything that you've done up to this point has led you up to this point. It's not going to take you to the next level where you want to be. In order to get to that next level, to have the things that you want to have, to understand the things that you want to understand, and to live the life that you want, you're going to have to be different. And that all consists of reinventing yourself. Well, why is it that many of us are restrained when it comes to reinventing ourselves? We just want to continue to stay the same. Les Brown once said, if you want something that you've never had before, you'll have to do something that you've never done before. And many of us are scared to do things that we've never done before. Why is this? I have 2 reasons for you. 2 reasons why we don't often reinvent ourselves. And before I get into those 2 reasons, I want you to know that that is a power that you have. Knowledge. Man is maker of his own reality through his daily beliefs and his knowledge. When you obtain new knowledge, when you learn something different, you're supposed to do something different. And when you do something different, that alters your belief. You continue to do that same thing over and over and over again. You get the results. You see that it works for you. It automatically transform your belief in regards to that one particular thing. So it is your job, it is your duty every day to acquire new knowledge and activate that knowledge and practice that knowledge habitually until it doesn't work for you anymore. It is your job and your duty to reinvent yourself as often as you possibly can. So the two reasons why we don't reinvent ourselves is pretty simple. Number one is fear. And number two is because we don't like change. Let's talk about this fear aspect because it's really important for you to know the groundwork about the mind frame and how it works in all the universal laws that are behind the information that you're going to get, because that is how it's going to be most effective for you. I need you to know that you're here to design the perfect life for yourself. That means you're here to reinvent yourself. You want to, you're willing. And I just need for both of us to be on the same page about this. The reason why you haven't reinvented yourself before is because you were scared. Fear. You're scared. Perhaps you were scared because you didn't know which way to turn or where to go. Perhaps you didn't have an accountability partner, but fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. It's that fake stuff. It's that fake-ish. Had you delusional. Well, I'm going to give it another chance. Well, I'm going to give him another chance. Well, I don't know how to go about finding a new career, a new job, new friends. So I'll just stay the same. I'm scared. I need somebody to hold my hand through this. Man is maker of his own reality through his daily thoughts. The thoughts you had made you afraid. See, you're addicted to the lies. You're addicted to the fairy tales. You're addicted to the lies that they fed you. You're addicted to them. They are now your beliefs. It's time for us to wake up and realize here in 2022 that our belief systems are jacked up. Why is that person over there prospering? Because he was taught to believe something different from the gate. From the gate, he was taught to not have these limitations upon himself. From the gate, he was taught to be abundant. He walked into a life that was already abundant, so he didn't see anything different. You, on the other hand, you walked into a life where there was tragedy. And maybe your parents were trying to make it, or maybe your parents had it all together, but you experienced life once you got out of your parents' home and you saw how real this thing could be. So your belief system was all jacked up because of your past experiences. Then you're scared. You're scared. You're afraid. You fear failure. You don't want to fail. Maybe someone told you you couldn't do it, and that thought stayed in your head. So you'd rather for things to stay the same instead of trying something different, getting messy, making mistakes, having to start over. You've probably started over 1,000 times and you're tired of starting over. So you have a fear of starting over or beginning again, because you lack the knowledge that you need in order to get you to the next level. You don't know what's the next thing to do to open that business. You don't know the next thing to do to write that book. You don't know the next class you'll have to take in order to pursue your higher education. You don't know where to go. You don't know where these things are. You lack the knowledge. You lack the shortcuts. You don't have the information, and you're afraid to go get it because perhaps it might actually be easy. It may be as simple as 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to beat yourself up the whole time, wishing that you would have known that long ago, because it would have made your life easier long ago. But because you lack the knowledge, because you allowed fear to set in your heart, false evidence appearing real, because you allowed fear to conquer you, you never knew. You never knew. So why are we so afraid to reinvent ourselves? Why don't we reinvent ourselves on a regular basis? Because we have a lot of fear in our heart. And because, number two, we don't like change. And I'm telling you this information so that these are the traps that you want to avoid. Because as we go on and on with these lessons, as I get into the crevices of your life to help you to create a different world for yourself, to help you to design a different dynamic for yourself, you're going to need to know to avoid the pitfalls of, hold up, I know I'm making these transitions. I know I'm shifting my life, and I feel something. It feels like I'm a little scared. It feels like I'm a little scared. I feel the old me kicking in. And that's where you need to know to cut it off. Cut it off. It's only false evidence appearing real. The next thing I want you to watch out for is change. We are so comfortable in our comfort zones. What's a comfort zone, coach? A comfort zone is the everyday mundane things that you do that don't challenge you. They don't take you out of your box. They're very easy for you. They're so easy for you that you don't even consciously do them. They're so easy for you that your subconscious, your low gutter subconscious mind does these things on autopilot. Think about it. When's the last time you actually had to pay attention and focus when you were driving home? When you were driving to work? When you were walking in the house and had to make your kids dinner? You didn't even appreciate it. You didn't even like it. You didn't even want to do it. It's your subconscious mind that has you on autopilot, and it's stopping you from being the best version that you could possibly be, because subconscious mind takes over conscious mind out the door. When your subconscious mind takes over, conscious mind is out the door. The only way your conscious mind is activated is when you are doing something different, something that is a challenge, something that demands all of your attention and strategy, because man is the maker of his own reality. Through his daily choices, through his daily ideas, through his daily decisions and his thoughts. You continue to think the same thoughts over and over, make the same decisions over and over, have the same ideas over and over, create the same choices for yourself over and over. You're going to continue to live the same life. This is what I'm here to do, to tell you today. It's time for you to change. What does change mean? Change means to choose happiness and never give excuses. Choose happiness and never give excuses. Now, these are the pitfalls that you have to watch out for when you begin to change. We don't like choosing. We'd rather for things to stay the same. We don't like choosing. You know what we're addicted to? We are addicted and we love being told what to do. We love being told what to do and when to do it. We've been brainwashed to believe that the struggle is the only way to get what we want. It's not any fault of our own. It's not your fault that you believe that you have to work hard and struggle in order to achieve the things that you want. That's what you've been told. That's what you've been shown. That's what you saw. That's what's been placed right in front of you. But is it possible that there is another way of getting things in which you don't have to struggle for? See, when you choose happiness, happiness is equivalent to ease. Just think about it. If you have to walk a mile and then catch a bus to work, and you're struggling that day, you just had a day already, and the day has only begun. It is going to eat you alive to do that. To walk a mile and then catch the bus all the way to work. It's going to feel like hell. But if you have to walk a mile and then catch a bus all the way to work, and you're happy, it's much easier. See, this is where perspective comes into play. So I equate happiness with ease and struggle with hard work. I'm sure you'd agree. This is self-development. Self-development is all about changing your mindset. And what I'm trying to tell you is there's two things you got to watch out for. The first one is fear, aka being scared. The second one is change. Because when you change, there's going to be some things that pop up. Change means choose happiness and never give excuses. Excuses are our comfort zones. We like to give excuses. When you're developing thyself, excuses, we gotta leave them out on the porch. Excuses are no longer allowed. I want you to say it with me. Come on, let's say it together. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. And what we're not going to do is allow our fear of any and everything to stop us from designing and actually living the life of our dreams. What we're not going to do is allow change to get in the way. Because in reality, change is for our benefit. It's choosing happiness and never giving excuses. I'm a firm believer of a few things. And one of those things is proper planning prevents piss poor performance. This is what we're doing here today. We are planning our future. We are designing our future. We are manifesting our future. I want you to know that all of this is with intention, because proper planning prevents piss poor performance. When you plan it out, you don't really have a problem. Maybe you have an A, B, C, and D plan for your life. When you plan it out, you don't have to say anything. I want you to write this down. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. I want you to say, fuck the excuses. That's right. Even if you have to whisper it, fuck the excuses. Fuck the excuses. I am putting my foot down today, right here, right now. Fuck the excuses. Fuck the excuses. I'm not willing to allow excuses to protect me anymore. I don't want to be protected by the excuses of it's too hard, it's too late, it's too early, it's too much. Fuck the excuses. Somebody write that. Fuck the excuses. Reiterate something to you. That this information is solely for the purposes of designing your dream life, designing your dream relationship with yourself through self-care and self-love via your imagination. Somebody say it with me. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. Say it with me. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. It's one thing for certain and two things for sure. As long as your why is strong enough, the how doesn't matter. As long as your why is strong enough, the how doesn't matter. It'll come. Somebody say, I don't have to get it all done today. I don't have to get it all done today. I don't have to get it all done today. I don't have to get it all done today. Today, I'm choosing to work on my imagination. Work through my imagination in order to manifest real self-love and self-care. Because this is me, Inc., me incorporated, and nobody can come and take this away from me. It's all about me. If you could live your life solely based upon your imagination, what type of life would you live? Now, I know this is an overwhelming topic because most of us wouldn't know where to start. We wouldn't know where to begin because our imagination has been out of the loop for so long. So I like to bring the 10 dimensions of wellness into everything because it helps us to assess kind of like where we are and what we've already accomplished, what we can pretty much check off, and how further we want to go. Now, the 10 dimensions of wellness do include your financial, your occupation, your social, your spiritual, your environmental, your material, your creative, your intellect, your physical health, and your mental health. Those are the 10 dimensions of wellness. I'd like for you to write those down. I'm going to go ahead and state them again for you so you can jot all of these down. And what you're jotting down are the 10 major compartments of your life. Now, within those compartments are a lot of other subcompartments, but this is pretty much the basis of what you need to know in order to organize your life and get it together. We're talking about redesigning our lives. We're talking about designing our lives. We're talking about reinventing our lives. We're talking about getting the life and manifesting the life of our dreams. Okay? So in order to do that, you need to know all the major compartments of your life. Again, your social dimension, your spiritual dimension, your finances, your occupational dimension, okay? Your material dimension, your creative dimension, your intellectual dimension, as well as your physical health, your mental health, your environmental dimension. Jot all of those down. I like to do them in boxes so I'm able to ask myself, like, what am I missing in this dimension? What am I missing in that dimension? So on and so on. Now, we're not going to be covering all the dimensions today. More specifically, we're going to be focusing on your physical health and your mental health dimension with a little bit of intellectual. Because this conversation is based off of self-care and self-love. So this has to do with thyself. All the other dimensions have to deal with other things and other people, but this is solely focused on yourself, okay? And when we get to talk about self-love and self-care, I want us to go on this imaginary ride where we are just focused on me, Inc., M-E-I-N-C, okay? Me, Inc. So this has to deal with your femininity, who you are as a woman, who you are as a lady, who you are as the feminine energy. Now, I'm going to give you 3 different categories in which you can place yourself in. This is all about being real with yourself, being gentle with yourself, but gentle enough and real enough to know where you stand. Now, I say that there are about 3 different categories of women. There are 3 different women. Number 1 is a very attractive woman externally. This is dealing with her physical health. Very attractive externally to the eye, her appearance, but she has a negative attitude. Then you have the unattractive woman who really doesn't think highly of herself and her looks, and maybe her self-esteem is down, but she has a positive attitude. And then there is another type of woman. This type of woman does not have a good attitude, nor does she feel or look attractive to the eye. Now, all of us want to be that woman that is attractive with a good attitude. I have 4 different categories in which the total package would come in. And those major categories are physically appealing. She looks good. And this has to deal with her hair. Good hair. Really, really good hair. I want you to imagine really, really, really good hair. Good hair. Meaning not the grain of hair. It doesn't matter if it's 4A, 4B, 4C, 3AB or C, D, E, F, or G. It doesn't matter. It matters that she has good hair. She maintains her hair. It looks decent. It looks presentable. And it works for her body type, for her face type. Okay? Good nails. That means that her nails look good. If they are brittle and broken, no one would ever know because maybe she has press-ons on her nails. She has acrylics on her nails. Or she has really nice nails that she paints herself. If she does not wear paint on her nails. She has a nice manicure and her hands look feminine because of her nails. In order to be physically appealing and attractive, this young lady takes care of her health, her physical health. So that means she has a fitness routine that she does. She has dieting that she implements in her life. And dieting does not mean she goes on diets from time to time or fasts, although she may. This means that she has a certain way that she eats. She does certain things to normalize her weight, as well as to perhaps lose weight or gain weight, depending on the area that she feels like she needs to work on. And she has good clothing, good fitting clothing that are attractive to her and perhaps allows her to feel very confident because of the way that she looks. She has a style. Maybe she wears dresses, maybe she wears pantsuits, maybe she wears hats, but her style and her clothing are tailored to her body and they fit her body very well. The personality trend is the next category. Next major category is the personality trend. What this goes into is her personality, her coping mechanisms, how she copes with things as life goes along, how she handles them, how she's able to decompartmentalize things in order to focus on the goal, the master goal. When we have a master goal in mind and it is our focus point, we tend to deal with problems, issues, and contrasts from a totally different perspective. We just don't react, but we respond. We just don't carry ourselves any type of way. We don't go around cussing folks out. We don't go around giving our opinions to any and every one. We have a way that we cope with things. Either her attitude is a positive attitude, she's very optimistic, looks at the glass as half full instead of half empty. Along with her attitude, does she wear a smile? Or is she always with the idle face? Level of aggression. In this personality trend, is she very feminine, very soft, very gentle, or is she an aggressive person? These are things that you must consider. Level of being polite, her politeness. Is she very polite and pleasant person to be around? The next major category that I dive into would be social connections. This is tapping into the social dimension as well. And with the social connections, this doesn't mean that she has to have friends or people that she hangs out with. This doesn't mean that she necessarily has to network or be a social butterfly. This means when she comes in contact with other individuals, does she have some type of compassion? Is she able to control herself and not undershare her information, her personal information, or overshare her personal information? And is she able and willing to perform acts of kindness that goes along with compassion? But is she able to be kind to individuals? Is her personality a kind personality? Last but not least, the last major category in which I focus on is her intellect. This means, is she an intellectual person? Does she read books, take classes, attend seminars, networking events? Is she continuously sharpening her knowledge? This would include her knowledge in media, which nowadays is the way that we make money online, virtually. Is she in tune and intact with media? Is she learning media strategies and how to work different apps and devices? Is she open to those things? In addition, her financial literacy. Is she literate within her finances? Does she know how to budget properly? This doesn't mean restrain herself, but is she able to properly allocate her money for the future and for the present? We're going to tap into the spiritual realm in this intellect, because I feel like anything is possible. You can get all the knowledge you need if you tune into thyself. So I say her connection to God, the God in the sky, the God here on earth, or the God within? Does she have any type of spiritual connection to a higher power? And then I go on within the same intellect field, we talk about her abilities and skills. What are her skills and abilities? Is she a domestic person, one who knows her way around the kitchen, around the house, knows how to run a family? Does she have professional skills, which she has had training on or dedicated time to, as well as college skills? Is she able to give life advice, worldly advice, as well as relationship advice? Or does she have any type of skill set when it comes to beauty? Maybe she is one that's all about her skin or all about her hair, and she's able to have an offering through that. So those are the four compartments that I look at of, a well-rounded woman that has the whole entire package. This goes into her being physically appealing, her personality trend, her social connections, as well as her intellect. Now, when thinking about these things, this all has to deal with self-love and self-care. When you begin to start to care about yourself more and love yourself a little more, and you want to dig into the trenches of how one can improve themselves or the perfect picture that they would be, as well as designing the perfect woman that they would like to be. These are the key areas in which we will focus on. So I want you to sit back and imagine if you, since you can and you have the capabilities to create, manifest, and design yourself into the perfect woman with a whole entire package, what category of a woman would you place yourself in? Of course, all of us wants to place ourselves in the category of being physically attractive as well as having good and positive attitudes. So what is it that you can focus on in the category of being physically appealing? Imagine you are the perfect woman. How would your nails be? What's the perfect type of nail? The style, the cut, the thick or thinness, what would they be? And what would your routine be in order to keep this up? Think about that. When you're designing the perfect version of you pertaining to self-love and self-care, caring about you and focusing on your nails, what would that be? What does that story look like? Do you visit a nail salon? Are you one who likes to do your nails yourself? Would you set time aside to put your nails in a bowl of water to soften your cuticles and put cuticle treatment on your nails? Would you be one to go to Walmart and collect all the supplies you would need to take care of your nails? Do you have a friend that specializes in that? Or do you go to a professional? What does this story look like? As we go down this list, you'll see that it seems like it's nitpicky, but this is how you create and design the perfect version of you when pertaining to self-care and self-love, caring about all the little compartments of you. What about your skin? What would your skin routine be? How do you maintain your skin? And not just the skin on your face, which is presented to everyone, but the skin all over your body. How would you go by taking care of this? What would be your master ritual? What would be your master ritual in taking care of your skin? Your hair, what does that look like? Can you imagine if you are the perfect version of yourself, how your hair would be? And not only how your hair would be, how you would take care of it or wouldn't. Would you hire a professional to do that? Do you have a sister or a cousin or your mother who would take care of your hair? How often would you maintain your hair? How would you protect your hair at nighttime? How would you sleep with your hair? When you wake up, nonsense type of individual who doesn't want to worry about your hair. Would you wear your hair in braids so that it's protected? Would you wear your hair with extensions, or would you wear a wig? Would you wear your natural hair? What is the story behind your hair? Imagine what that would be like. Imagine you being the perfect version of you, pertaining specifically to your hair, right here and right now. You don't have to, the whole mission of this is not to pick a hairstyle and stick with it, because most of us like versatility these days, especially when it pertains to wigs and extension and all of that. We like versatility, color, and all of that. But what would that process look like? How would you take care of your hair? What is your idealistic fitness goals? What does that situation look like? What type of ritual do you have set up for yourself? What types of foods do you eat? How often do you work out? What types of workouts do you do? Are you more into cardio? Are you more into weightlifting? Are you into yoga? Do you do a lot of stretching? What does this look like idealistically for you in your life? And last but not least, your clothing. Do you prefer more fitted clothing, more loose clothing? Are you a person who likes to mix it up? You want a little of each. Your handbags, do they have to match your shoes? Would you prefer to wear a certain brand of shoes? Would you like to have a collection of a certain type of handbag? What does that look like? All of what I'm saying is going into the crevices of creating the perfect self-care, self-love routine for yourself. Personality. Let's go deeper into personality. Our environment plays a big part on our personality. This is because the people that we are around the most, we adapt their habits. And this doesn't just mean physically being around people. This could be people that you follow on the internet, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. What type of people are you looking at? Remember, we have these portals. The portals are all of our senses. So what are you seeing? What are you hearing women talk about? What type of attitude would you like to adopt? If you are the perfect version of you, what type of attitude would you have? This also goes into how you speak. What is your level of being polite? How much positivity would you have in your world? Where would you get all of this from? How would you reinforce these types of traits within yourself? What type of classes would you take? Would you take etiquette classes? Would you go out to fine dining so that you can pick up on other women and how they carry themselves? And your coping mechanisms. What do you do as the highest version of yourself to cope? Do you idealistically have a good relationship with your mother or your grandmother, perhaps an aunt or a godmother? Do you have a good relationship with your therapist? Do you have a therapist? Is it something that you would consider or you have considered? What type of coping mechanisms do you have? Are you a journaler? Do you record videos to express yourself? How do you allow yourself to grow within or grow from your disappointments and your anger? Because disappointments and anger is always going to be an emotion that's there. So we kind of have to figure out how to deal with it. How do you, as the highest version of yourself, dream or imagine of dealing with these things? We're putting together the perfect version of you. We're putting together the dream version of you. We're building your self-love. We're building your self-care routine. Your social connections. How do you socialize and mingle with other people? How do you interact with other people? What's the idealistic social connections for you? How do you present yourself? How do you come off to others? How secretive are you with your world and your relationships and the things that you share? Or the opposite, how much are you willing to share? How open are you? Are you an open book? And how do you maintain that? How does it look as the perfect version of you? What type of compassion? How do you show your compassion? How do you express your gratitude towards other people? And your level of kindness. How kind or how pleasant are you as the perfect version of you? What does this look like? What do you implement to make sure that you are able to willingly and openly express and show acts of kindness? Your intellect, which is the last compartment. How do you expand your knowledge within today's day and time as far as media and technology? How are you expanding your knowledge? What does the perfect version of you know, or how does she carry that? Is she a boss? Is she one that is just willing to pay for the information that she doesn't know, learn a little here or there, but mainly focus on her focus, but is able to instruct others on how to do the basics? Does she believe, do you, the higher version of you, believe that the things that you don't know, you can pay someone to do for you? Finances. It is your duty and your job to be the steward of your finances. So, how financially literate are you? Do you take classes in order to continue to enhance your financial literacy? To develop techniques, to know what to invest into, to know what are the new tricks of the trade, to learn this information and expand your knowledge pertaining to your finances and your stability, your financial stability. As far as your skills and your abilities, what does the highest version of you know how to do? What does she specialize in? If you could live your life solely based upon your imagination, what do you imagine you'd specialize in or be good at or be extremely well at? This is the day and time to have that conversation, with yourself, because the world is moving so fast. We don't have time to think about these things. And while you're designing your perfect life, you are carving out the most perfect version of yourself. And these things matter. I remember years ago, maybe about 15 years ago when I met my husband, I was not into my feet. I didn't have foot confidence or feet confidence. I didn't like them. I didn't think that they were as cute as other females. And so it showed. It showed. I would have a chip nail here or there, would paint them every so often. It wasn't a priority. But when I met my husband, he made it known that he loves feet. And he would look down at my feet and it would make me self-conscious, because I know that that wasn't an area of my expertise. That wasn't something that I was interested in. That's not something that I thought highly of myself. That wasn't a category that I was even interested in, dedicating my time to, because it didn't matter to me. But the more and more he gave attention to my feet, not ever saying anything rude, I felt him paying attention to them. So it made me want to change and do better. So I went on this journey of finding my iconic nail polish that I wear, and I stuck with it. And I went to the Walmart aisle and picked out every foot product that I could basically find, and I started transforming my feet. Once every 2 weeks, I would do my feet. And then I got better at them, and better and better and better and better, until I became an expert at my feet. But it's not something that I would have ever gotten good at unless I felt uncomfortable. And it took me wanting and desiring to be good at this one particular thing, to where I feel like I do a better job than the pedicurist, the nail techs, at doing my own feet. If I go, I always feel like there's something that I have to come back and fix and do a lot better, because now this is an area where I am an expert. I am confident. I feel comfortable within myself. But as a young lady, that wasn't my prized possession in my eyes. So I tell you that story openly because it all comes down to the little things. And not very often do we talk about the little intricate things that make up the woman that we are, that allows us to not feel a certain type of way if someone is looking at a certain thing on us or within us, because we have it all together. That woman that has it all together is beautiful on the outside as well as in the inside. And it starts with her nails. It starts with her creating a routine for her nails. So my routine is every Sunday, I do my nails and my feet, or go and get my nails and my feet done. But I prefer to do them myself. And that has only become a part of my life because it's something that I wasn't comfortable with. It all comes down to how you maintain your hair. It really does. It comes down to how you maintain your skin. if you don't maintain your skin properly, or if you should be in a situation to where you don't have good skin or you haven't claimed that yet for yourself, then you would have to wear a lot of makeup instead of choosing to either wear makeup today or not. It comes down to these little things, and these little things are creating a ritual. How often do you focus on loving yourself and self-care and getting your hair done, doing your nails, dedicating time for your skin? Luckily, I've always been a skin girl. I've always had pretty good skin. But because I love skin so much, I have a whole skincare line that I put together for my children and I, and now it's on the market for the world, so that we're not having to wear makeup and cover up our imperfections if we don't want to. And if we want to, it will be there. So on a certain day, at a certain time, I take care of my skin. I record and document me taking care of my skin with my skincare products. And I was able to have a business behind my love for maintaining my skin at home. It's all the little things that we don't talk about, and we don't really make it a major point to develop ourselves in those areas, because we think that those things don't matter. What it matters, because it is a fourth of the whole big picture of what it takes to be the full package as a woman, to maintain that feminine energy, personality as well. The things we eat is either going to benefit us or not. It's either going to make us gain weight, make us maintain our weight, or force us to lose weight. What we put in our mouths, our clothing, is a part of how individuals are going to look at us and treat us. So it's very important that we not overlook the self-love and the self-care when creating the perfect versions of ourselves, because it is, in fact, a huge version of who we really are. Our social skills, our intellect. So what I want you to do is, I'm going to point out a whole bunch of different random topics that have to deal with self-care, just to give you some type of avenue to base your self-care off of. Now, I'm not restricting your self-care rituals or images that you create for yourself to these things. These are just some feminine things that I've come up with that you should perhaps think about when envisioning the perfect version of you. And when you come across something that really sticks with you, that really makes you feel like, oh, yes, I forgot about that. I would love to incorporate into my self-care journey, into my self-love journey. This whole conversation is to evoke a life change, a conversation that would make you have an aha moment, allow you to see the importance of things that we pretty much put to the back burner, and allow you to expand your paradigm a little bit, because it does matter. All of these things matter. As I'm offering you these ideas, I would like for you to envision the perfect version of yourself, pertaining specifically. Somebody say, I don't have to do it all today. I don't have to get it all done today. I don't have to get it all done today. And remember, my imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. Something so simple. It's like the more simple things are, the more it's easier for us to overlook them. This is a very simple task that it would be very easy for us to overlook, and we do often overlook it. Of course, we do our nails, we get them done, but we really don't think about, in emphasis, directly, specifically, who we are and what it is that we want. We think we love ourselves, but we really don't take the time to think about, how could I love myself more? We think we care for ourselves because every now and then we have a spa day. But the reality of it is, just having a spa day doesn't mean that you care for yourself or you love yourself. Caring for yourself and loving for yourself means having a routine. Habitual, which is a habit that you have created a ritual for. It's an ongoing thing. Because if you don't take care of you, no one is going to take care of you. If you don't love you, no one is going to love you like you could love yourself. So as I give you these offerings, I want you to take this time and sit back and relax and think about, since I have the power and I am designing the perfect version of myself, since I have the power to design the perfect way that I will love myself and show myself that I love myself, that I care for myself and show myself that I care for myself, what do I see? What can I envision for these things? Take out your pen and paper and let's take notes. Say it with me. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. It's time for you to tap in to your imagination regarding self-care and self-love. What types of books does she read? Does she prefer audiobooks? Books on a Kindle? Does she prefer hardcover books or softcover books? And what genre does she particularly like to read in? What does it for the perfect version of you? How does your alone time look? Are you alone on a beach with a blanket in the early morning, praying, meditating, watching the waves, or in the afternoon, watching kids play with their families? Are you taking a walk in nature? Are you hiking? Are you at a movie by yourself? Are you taking yourself on solo dates? What does that look like? Your baths and showers. Do you offer yourself spa treatment, baths, and showers on a regular basis? Do you set everything up? You have the candles, the music, all the different selections of body washes. Do you have all the pink Himalayan sea salts and all the extravagant bath things, as well as the shower beads? How does that look? Your therapy sessions. Do you have someone, a professional, to talk to let out all of your happiness or all of your anger or disappointments? Your friendships. What is the perfect type of friendship for yourself? What's that? What does that look like? What does it feel like? How does she look? How does she act? Is she your twin? Is he your twin? Your beauty treatments. What types of beauty treatments are you into? At home beauty treatments or professional beauty treatments? Enhancements. What type of enhancements would you like pertaining to your body? Are you happy with your teeth? Do you plan on getting new teeth? If so, what would they look like? What company is going to put them in for you? Are you going to get braces, veneers? What does that situation look like? How do you dress? How do you dress? Do you have a signature style? If someone is seeing the perfect version of you, would she be in a dress, slacks, shorts, jeans, a crop top, flats, tennis shoes, heels, boots? Describe your fly. How do you smell? Are you one who doesn't like fragrance at all? Just the natural fragrance of soap or body wash? Or do you like body sprays or the oils or perfumes? Are you a sweet girl or a masculine girl? Are you in between? Do you like the citrus or the summer smells? The smells around you. When you are in a room, what does that room smell like? Does it smell Hawaiian fresh? Does it smell like a man? Does it smell like clean linen? Do you like the smell of the snuggles? What does the space around you smell like? Are you one who stays up to date on her doctor's visits? The perfect version of you would stay up to date on her doctor's visits, her feminine visits from the gynecologist, her therapy visits for her mental, her dermatologist visits for her skin, her dental visits for her teeth, her visits to the optometrist. What does that look like for you? Do you plan it out and schedule it for the whole year? Or is it every time you go, you just get another appointment? What does the perfect version of you think about that? And what about your insurance? Have you insured and protected yourself, your life, as well as your death, as well as your medical insurance? Are you insured your vehicles, your homes, your businesses? Are they insured? Do you attend retreats? I'm sure the highest version of you attends a retreat. Is it once a quarter, semi-annually, annually, once every 3 years? And what type of retreats do you go on? Are they spiritual retreats? Are they women retreats? Are they business retreats? How does that look for you? Your staycations. How often do you take time for yourself and clear out your house and make it a hotel vibe and allow yourself to relax and enjoy? Or perhaps you'll go rent a room or a suite at a very prestigious hotel or resort and stay there for a weekend. How does that look for you? In your vacations, do you go out? Are you a person that likes to go out of the country very often? Do you like to stay within the states? Is there a particular place where you like to vacation? How does that look for you? Your personal shopping. Shopping for yourself, shopping for your personal hygiene, shopping for clothing, jewelry, all those things that girls like to do. How does that look for you idealistically? Does the perfect version of you even like to shop? If she doesn't, maybe she shops online. But what's the story behind that? What does it really look like for you? What does it really mean to you? What about shopping for your home? How do you keep up your environment? How often do you do so? Are you one who likes to go to Home Goods, TJ Maxx, and buy all the beautiful pillows or all the candles or the art for your wall? What type of water does the highest version of you drink? Is there a certain type of water and a reason behind the type of water that she drinks? And do you stack it up? Do you go to the Sam's or the Costco's and stock up on the water? Is it delivered to your home a couple of times a week for your water machine? What's your choice of foods? Does the highest version of you eat on the more healthier, leaner side? Or is she a meat eater and she loves meats? How does she maintain her health? Does she do monthly fasts, weekly fasts, quarterly fasts, semi-annually or annual fasts? What type of restriction does she put herself on in order to clean out her system? Do you enjoy fine dining? Or is Cheddar's, TGIF, Chili's good for you? You just like to have fun. What type of collections do you have? Are you a shoe girl or a handbag girl? Are you a wig girl? Are you an eyelash girl? Are you a makeup girl? What type of collections do you have as far as like beauty and apparel and clothing and different things like that? If you wear jewelry, what type of jewelry do you like to wear? Do you prefer silver or gold? Remember, this is all about creating the highest version of yourself. The things that we really don't talk about or even think about because they seem miscellaneous, but they are very important because we are tapping into our imagination. The power of our imagination is going to allow us to form a story that we're telling about the highest version of ourselves. And we're going to continue to tell that story over and over and over and over until we fill those shoes. What type of vehicles do you drive? Do you like big trucks, old school cars, or luxurious cars? Does your car just need to be a vehicle that's small and gas efficient? A Nissan, a Kia? What are your dream cars? What types of flowers do you see, being delivered to your home on a regular basis? What types of flowers make you happy? Perhaps you would like to have a beautiful garden outside of your home so that you can cut the beautiful roses whenever you'd like. But what's the story behind that? Do you romanticize yourself? So how often would you receive those things that make you feel good? Maybe perhaps you're not a flower girl, but you are a perfume girl. So you treat yourself with perfumes. Or perhaps you are a candle girl, so you treat yourself to candles. Perhaps you are a girl who likes subscription services to magazines. What types of magazines would you have sent to your house? Something that arrives for you on a regular basis. What would that look like? What types of gifts would you request for your birthday? The perfect version of you. Are you a gift card type of girl? Do you love things from Z Gallery? Or do you love a certain type of bag always ordered for you? Or would you prefer your friends and family to purchase you a stock within a specific company? What type of gifts would really get you going and make you feel appreciated as well as make you feel whole and complete? Your skincare routine, what does that look like? Your vaginal care routine. Do you go get waxed on a regular basis? Do you wax yourself? Do you like the bush? Do you like to clean it up yourself? What does that time look like for you? Do you light a candle? Do you have all of your equipment? Do you go to the spa? How does that scene look in your life? What about your connection to the highest power? Do you attend church on a regular basis? Do you have a prayer call that you're on? Do you pray yourself? Do you and your husband pray? What about you and your whole entire family? And even if you're not into the prayer thing, do you tap in to the higher power, the source of the higher power via meditation? What does that whole spiritual practice look like for you? This is all about self-care and self-love. Are you a wine sipper? If you are a wine sipper, what's your preference in wine? What types of wine do you like? Do you have them stocked? Do you have a big, tall wine fridge? Do you have a bar at your home? Do you have a small, tiny wine bar with a collection of different wines? Do you enjoy going to the different wineries in the country and, seeing what they have to offer, tasting and learning? Do you like cheese with your wine? Do you like to set out the charcuterie boards? What does the highest version of you have to say about wine talk? Or Maybe you're not a wine girl. Maybe you like the hard liquor. Do you have a collection of those? What types of drinks do you like to make? Um, do you have a book of pictures that where you've made all these special, unique drinks? Do you have a drink book? Do you have a machine that you push the buttons and it makes the drinks for you? Okay. Are you not a drinker? Are you a cigar type of girl? You go out and you like the Cuban cigars, you like the expensive cigars, and it's a great way to network. How does that look in your world? Are you open to that? What does the highest version of you have to say about that? About solo dates. What type of solo dates do you go on? What type of friend dates? Do you like just you and another person? Or do you like a group of individuals? Do you like to double date with you and your spouse, or you and your best friend with two other best friends? What's the story behind that? How does it feel? What about dates with your children? Do you take your children out? Do you allow them to take you out? And you guys, just have fun, nothing too strenuous, just a nice day out with your daughters or your sons or your godchildren. Do you enjoy being near water? Maybe at the lake or at the river or the ocean, or being on a boat or at the beach. Maybe you enjoy activities like skydiving or skiing. Maybe you enjoy any water activities like water amusement parks and different things like that. How does that part of your world look like? How do you speak to yourself? Do you have a ritual on a regular basis where you say positive things to yourself? Or maybe there's a recording or a YouTube video or a podcast where it specifically focuses on positive self-talk and the things that you should say to yourself, and incorporating new thoughts that will allow you to treat yourself better, better and better and more better, to develop thy relationship with thyself, to encourage self-love, to encourage self-care, to encourage the soft life. Are you a part of any women's social groups or networking groups, perhaps with your church or with your community or with your business? Your underclothes. How often do you go through your underclothes drawer and throw away all the panties with the holes in them and all the bras that are stretched out of shape? What type of routine do you have with that? What type of special time do you spend with yourself with going through your underclothes, your panties, your bras, your garments, all of that, your sexy lingerie? How often do you change those things out? When it comes time for your menstrual cycle, do you love on yourself? Do you have a specific candle that you light and you leave lit the whole entire time to promote relaxation? Is there certain music that you like to listen to when it comes time for your menstrual cycle? Do you soak in the bathtub every single day? Do you have a ritual where you rub your belly and your stomach and you tell yourself how much you love you? Is there a ritual that the highest version of yourself would like to implement or already has implemented in order to express self-love while you're going through a very uncomfortable part of your month? What type of drinks do you put in your body? Do you put freshly squeezed orange juice or pineapple juice into your body? What type of nurturing natural juices do you put into your body to nurture your insides? Are you one who likes the blended drinks? Do you like to juice them yourself, or do you like to already purchase them juiced? What type of juices are you putting in your body? Now, this is very important because this goes along with your pH balance and how you are thinking about yourself and reacting to yourself and your hydration level, as well as the flow of your cycle and all different things like that. Do you have a ritual to promote laughter in your world? Are you one of those people, anytime a comedian comes into town, you're there? Do you visit the comedy lounge in your world? In your environment? Are you a poetry type of person? Maybe you like the quiet poetry scene where you get to snap your fingers and you really get to flow. Perhaps you write poetry yourself. What type of entertainment do you allow yourself to enjoy in order to let your hair down and realize that it's all about the little things that count? Promoting laughter in your world, as well as calmness, depth, and being in sync with yourself. Have you prioritized sex in your life, knowing that it is a stress reliever and all the great benefits that will come from it, as well as the pleasure aspect? What does the highest version of yourself have to say about companionship? Do you find it very necessary to have a companion? Is that companion the love of your life, or is it just a best friend? What does that companion look like? Would it be male? Would it be female? Are you versatile? Are you open when it comes to that? This is definitely something that we have to think about when creating, manifesting, and designing the perfect version of us. In addition to that, what type of entertainment do you enjoy? Are there shows that you really love to binge watch? Do you allow yourself an allotted time to binge watch certain shows on cable television, live television, or on YouTube? Maybe you like the operas. Maybe you like plays, okay? Maybe there are certain podcasts you tune into. What are your cleaning habits? The highest version of yourself, does she have a certain day in which she just detail cleans her entire home, her entire office, her cars, different things like that? Does she make it a fun activity? What does this look like in her world? Money. How does the perfect version of you feel about money? What type of money practices does she have? Health supplements. As far as health supplements, what type of supplements does your highest version of you take? Is she not into supplements? Does she just eat and maintain a perfect, well-balanced diet to where she gets everything that she needs? If she needs more vitamin D, she gets out in the sun more. If not, what type of supplement routine does she have, and when does she activate it? Is it on a regular basis? How does she remind herself to, implement these things in her daily life? Also, is she one who goes to get like IVs? Is that type of thing scheduled? How does she maintain her day-to-day health? Workouts. What does her workouts look like? What type of workouts does she like to do? What type of accountability partners does she have? Does she have accountability partners in each area of her life that allows her to stay on it? Or does she have a best friend who is her accountability partner in every area of her life? Perhaps she has a mate who is her accountability partner in, most areas of her life. Who is her accountability partners? Who is it that's in her life that can push her to the next level? What about your sheets and your mattresses? Sheets are a big deal. When you get a nice quality sheet, you'll know that it makes you sleep more comfortably. It feels good rubbing against your skin. What type of sheets and mattress covers does the highest version of you have? And is that something that you have explored yet? If not, you should definitely explore it, as well as mattresses. The mattresses that we have are supposed to be changed out every so often. What is the idealistic mattress for the highest version of yourself? What does it do? How does it make you feel? What's the story behind selecting it? All of these things are very important. As well as nature. What type of interactions with nature does the highest version of you have? Does she like to put her feet in the water at the beach or walk in the bare grass? Does she like to hug trees and connect with nature, bird watching? Does she enjoy just sitting on the porch, early in the morning or late at night and breathing in the fresh air? What type of relationship with nature does the highest version of you have? As well as routines. And this means routines, morning routines, and night routines. If you are creating the perfect version of yourself, what type of routines would you create for yourself? Any other things that you could think of that could give you a visual of creating, designing the highest version of yourself? This is the time to implement them. This is the time to write out a list of things that you would like to incorporate into your world. This is the time to imagine those things. And remember, you don't have to do it all today. And what that means is you don't have to worry about focusing on every single dimension and trying to change your whole world today. Today is the day to imagine. Today is a day to visualize. Today is the day for us to come together and for me to bring to your attention some of the things that you may be missing out in your world. And guess what? The most perfect part about this is all is truly within. You have the capabilities to impact almost each and every single one of these things right here and right now today. You can put together a ritual that will allow you to engage in a little bit of everything to show yourself that you love yourself, which means spending more time on yourself, spending more money on yourself, giving more attention to yourself. Remember, where your attention goes, your energy flows. So say it with me. Our quote of the day, our quote of this lesson: my imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. My imagination is the gateway to all of my dreams. Now, don't get overwhelmed. Write it out. Once you've written it out, half the work is done. Read it over and over and over as often as you possibly can. Leave it out on your desk. Record something so you can hear it on a regular basis. Watch this class, listen to this class over and over and over again so that you can get the understanding of how all of this works. This is the framework of designing the perfect version of you regarding self-care and self-love. Thank you so much for attending the class. Leave all of your notes and comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Ashe.